Welcome back to KCTV5 Plus. I'm Katie Bird. You guys, I just have to say, December went by in a blink. It felt like just yesterday we were having the first snow of the season here at KCTV5. We have had multiple special projects this month, spanning in everything from sports betting to one-on-one conversations with area leaders. And there's quite a bit to get into here, so let's jump into your December special projects rewind. And kicking off December, Missouri became the 39th state to legalize sports betting, and college athletes say they're the ones paying the price as online abuse is hitting record levels. And KCTV5 sports director Marlia Campbell reported on the fallout effect of student athletes right here in the Kansas City community. We'd like to caution you that this story includes mention of racist messages and suicide.
The threats started pouring in before Zeke Mayo even left the court. Kansas basketball's guard had just finished a rough game against Texas Tech. 5 points, 5 turnovers in the Jayhawks' loss. But when he checked his phone, his bad night became a nightmare.
What did some of those messages say?
It was just a bunch of racist stuff. People telling me, to kill myself. If they ever saw me out in public, they would do this or that. I went straight home and locked myself in a room for a very long time. I didn't want to speak to anybody. I turned my phone off. It was a very difficult day and a half.
Mayo's experience isn't uncommon.
We're seeing an increase in student athletes as well as other participants such as coaches and officials receiving harassment from individuals who may have a betting interest.
More than 1 in 3 Division I men's basketball players experienced betting-related abuse in the last year, according to a new NCAA study.
You start to realize, okay, these people could be, gamblers. They lost a lot of money.
The harassment often targets individual performance. That's because in many states, gamblers can bet on specific player actions called prop bets, like how many points someone scores or rebounds they grab.
That really puts a target on the back of student athletes to receive abuse and harassment from angry bettors.
Here's where Missouri's new law makes a difference. Prop bets are illegal for games involving Missouri schools. They are still allowed in Kansas, meaning players like Mayo remain vulnerable. Authorities are fighting back. The NCAA now uses artificial intelligence to spot online abuse and alert police. They've also partnered with Venmo because angry bettors literally send payment requests to athletes who don't meet their expectations.
It's my hope that any student athlete, if they are being threatened or they are being harassed or bullied, that they would bring that to someone's attention, because there are law enforcement remedies, for those kinds of things.
Back on campus, athletic departments are also providing specialized mental health support. But many athletes still suffer in silence.
If I'm being honest, I didn't really reach out to anyone. I had a handful of, family members and a bunch of old coaches and some teammates reach out and just make sure I was okay. But I didn't go to anyone and say, I need help. I just kind of dealt with it on my own.
We know more and more states are legalizing sports betting, Missouri next in line. What would you like to see moving forward in terms of living in this new era?
Yeah, I think the biggest piece is just realizing, who's on the other side of a lot of these bets.
People like Zeke, a Lawrence, Kansas native who dreamed of wearing the crimson and blue, now learning that living that dream comes with dangers he never imagined.
Just being a young kid who hasn't really experienced, life yet, not really something you can't just put your phone down and be okay.
Marlia Campbell, KCTV5 Sports.
And as more states legalize sports betting, we're seeing nationwide how the impacts on college athletes continue to grow. And at the beginning of 2026, the NCAA will release its next study on the impact of social media abuse on student athletes. And KCTV will be sure to share those results when we receive them. And next up, if you're tired of those late nights and hangovers but still want to dance and connect with people, well, you are not the only one. There's actually a new morning party venue that's redefining nightlife right here in Kansas City. Taking it next to KCTV5 anchor Zach Summers inside AM Club.
This isn't Westport on a Saturday night. In fact, it's not even nighttime. It's mid-morning at a West Bottoms coffee shop, and the crowd is ready to dance. Welcome to AM Club, the brainchild of brothers King and Nana Amfo.
We love to bring people together.
There are no cocktails here, no hangovers, just beats, caffeine, and good vibes.
We realized that there was a whole niche of people that don't go out at nighttime, but they still wanted a place where they could come together, not drink alcohol, and still fellowship.
The brothers say it's part rave, part wellness, and peak hours are before noon.
People are leaving here with the right connections, healthy friendships, and that's what we're trying to preach out there. That's what we're trying to bring to them.
King and Nana brought AM Club to Kansas City earlier this year, holding the pop-up event once a month at area coffee shops and other businesses. The novel concept couldn't have come at a better time.
A new Gallup poll shows only 54% of Americans drink alcohol. That's the lowest rate in nearly 90 years.
Who doesn't want a DJ in the morning?
This was Amanda Pena's second time at AM Club. She appreciates the relaxed atmosphere.
It didn't feel like I had to put a bunch of effort into what I was wearing, what I was doing.
Max Nichols leads a run club every Saturday. He believes AM Clubs could be the future of fitness and wellness culture.
People want to move their body, but then have fun afterwards.
For first-timer Victoria Kinworthy,
I met so many people.
She wanted to experience it after seeing posts on social media. Now she's hooked.
This is definitely more my vibe. I do love some nightlife, but I hate feeling tired.
As more Americans rethink drinking culture,
it's only going to get bigger and better from here.
The Amfo brothers are proving that sometimes the best nights out happen in the morning. Zach Summers, KCTV5 News.
Kansas City's not the only place with a morning club. The brothers have also held similar events in Utah and even in their home country of Ghana. And there's a link to the next AM Club pop-ups on this story on the KCTV5 website. 7OH. It's a synthetic kratom product that's become increasingly popular and controversial. People have many questions about it. Is it safe, and what are the side effects? KCTV5 anchor Zach Summers got rare access into the operation of this synthetic kratom product.
This is a product that the world needs to have.
Meet Vince Sanders, president and founder of Kansas City-based CBD American Shaman. The company is one of the largest makers of 7-hydroxymetrogenin, or 7OH. It's a lab-made derivative of kratom.
We're really a science-based company.
Sanders says demand for 7OH is massive.
You're literally talking about hundreds of millions of individual doses a year.
The drug is sold in gas stations and smoke shops across the metro. Sometimes called gas station heroin, it's unregulated in most states, including Missouri and Kansas.
This isn't gas station heroin, it's anything but. It's the answer to heroin.
The substance has been widely criticized for its potent opioid-like effects, with reports of addiction and withdrawal. Sanders insists it's safe.
Your liver would convert 25% of that nitroguanine into 7OH. We're just giving you the 7OH to save your liver the work. 7OH naturally.
He gave us rare access to one of the company's 7 warehouses to show us how 7OH is made.
Yeah, it all started here.
Inside large reactors, metrogenin is chemically transformed into 7OH. The mixture is then separated into layers.
You'll see dark float to the top and clear to the bottom.
The material is dried into a powder and moved into a vacuum oven.
That's 7OH. And it'll sit in here for 24 hours to pull off any residual solvents.
Sanders has faced mounting legal trouble since starting mass production of 7OH in early 2024. Months after, Kansas City shut down his operation here on Southwest Boulevard over safety concerns. Sanders says he's working with the city to reopen the warehouse, but his problems go far beyond the local level. A week before Thanksgiving, Missouri's Attorney General launched an investigation into Sanders' company and 5 others focused on potentially deceptive sales of Kratom and 7-OH. Court documents show that same month, federal agents seized 7-OH products from 2 of Sanders' warehouses, arguing they violate federal food, drug, and cosmetic laws.
You're getting pushback from all sides. At one point, do you take a step back and consider 7-OH is the problem or could be the problem?
We're not going to take something off the market unless we have to. Not as long as it's helping people.
State and county health departments across the U.S. have issued warnings about 7-OH. In October, Los Angeles County, California linked 6 overdose deaths to the drug, which has never been clinically studied in humans.
We're not going to back down.
Kansas U.S. Senator Roger Marshall is now urging the DEA to classify 7-OH as a Schedule I controlled substance.
There's no meaningful, purposeful use for this drug.
His concerns are partly tied to findings from Lenexa-based clinical reference lab. They tested human samples looking for how prevalent the drug is in our community.
And it scared me like immediately.
When looking at all opioids, the company found 7-OH had a positive rate as high as fentanyl, Oxycontin, and hydrocodone combined.
We do work for the government all the time. In this case, we're trying to ask the government to study something and to do something.
We're 100% behind studying it, right? But don't get rid of it.
In a world grappling with an opioid crisis, Sanders believes he's found the answer. Critics say he's created a new problem.
This is too important of a mission to just let go. So we're going to fight it.
Zach Summers, KCTV5 News.
Sanders says that he supports the regulation of 7-OH, but opposes a full ban. And he says even if the drug is pulled from all markets across the nation, the company already has another product to replace it. And next up, after over 40 years acting locally in A Christmas Carol and more than 20 as Ebenezer Scrooge, Gary Neal Johnson is calling it a career. Now, KCTV5 anchor Lauren Magarino sat down with Johnson to learn about his transformative, generations-long experience that has touched countless lives here in Kansas City.
Merry Christmas, out upon Merry Christmas.
Ebenezer Scrooge is a man who lost love.
What's Christmas time to you?
And rediscovers it for others and for himself.
I mean, I get goosebumps when I think of the journey that he goes through and that I get to go through every night.
It's of the chance and hope you mentioned, Jacob. It is.
Gary Neal Johnson brings Scrooge to life in KC Rep's production of A Christmas Carol.
Oh, you were always a good friend to me, thank you.
Yeah, I'll miss that.
And his decades-long journey with the character is coming to a close. After more than 40 years in the show, and 24 of them as Scrooge, Johnson is hanging up his top hat. If every single seat represented a performance, Johnson could fill this entire theater twice over, performing an estimated 1,100 times as Ebenezer Scrooge.
I was 50 when I started it, and I'm 76 next April. All I can say is that it's time. I don't want to still be doing it when they have to carry me off the stage.
Peggy Friesen, who's performed alongside Johnson for 40-plus years, remembers Johnson's big break, filling the role after an actor from New York.
When he started doing Scrooge, I thought, oh, right, yeah, we've got a local guy doing this, and the whole company was completely local by then. He filled those shoes really well.
So well, the holidays are not complete without Johnson for many Kansas City families.
People in the grocery store who want to talk about their family's relationship annually to A Christmas Carol. It tells me that it is a tradition and that I've been a part of it.
That connection runs deeper than applause.
It's the only Scrooge I've ever known. It's the only Scrooge my kids have ever known. And it's the only Scrooge that my in-laws have ever known.
And when he leaves there, you and presents could be
Director Jason Chanos has collaborated with Johnson for 6 years.
Those are massive shoes to fill, and we don't have a plan yet. I can say honestly.
You asked a question about special places. I never thought about that.
During rehearsal, Johnson tells us he's not thinking about his final show. It'll get in the way of his performance. But when the final curtain closes,
I'm looking forward to Fall Fests, Oktoberfest. I'm looking forward to seeing Nutcracker again.
placing a spotlight on how he'll be missed.
We're a team. And so to have that member of the team, I don't know what that says about me. I don't know where I go from here. I don't know how I'm supposed to feel or what I'm supposed to think. So I'm going to miss him deeply.
But all good stories come to an end. And while Scrooge's story is one of redemption,
it's a bond. We will always be friends because of Christmas Carol, friends and loved ones.
Johnson's is of an iconic role that created a lasting connection to the Kansas City community. No humbug about it.
Johnson's final performance as Ebenezer Scrooge was this past Saturday, December 27th, and you can find more content of his career on this story on the KCTV5 website. Next up, a Metro project that was supposed to be a full-fledged retail center has sat incomplete and vacant for almost 20 years. That's right, after almost 2 decades of delays, the Mission Gateway site can finally go up for sale. Earlier this month, the Johnson County judge ruled that the Metropolitan Bank can foreclose on this property. Now, KCTV5 investigative reporter Samantha Boring shares new records revealing the money behind the mess.
Taking a trip down Johnson Drive, you'll find a little bit of everything in Mission. A print shop.
We do business cards, brochures, we do wide format, we do graphic design.
Okay, you get your coffee also here.
A lunch stop.
I was very interested in serving him some nice cuisine, yeah.
But head east, and the Mission charm fades to this. A silent, unused space.
The negativity is the Gateway Center.
It's a black eye for the city of Mission.
How did this become Mission's black eye? The once thriving Mission Mall came down in 2006.
I used to go over there and I had lunch out there in that one area, and it was a nice little, decent little mall.
Then make way for the Gateway, a mixed-use project full of promises. Now in 2025, the site tells a story of momentum lost.
I share the frustration of all the residents when I see the site.
In 2023, the City of Mission cut ties with the agreement and the developer, Aria Realty LLC. And now nearly $1.5 million in unpaid property taxes are tied to the Gateway. Something the mayor says they can enforce. That's up to the county, who has their own policy before taking action.
Someone comes forward with a project for the site, we can kind of be firm and say we're not considering anything until you get square with your taxes, but that's only the only real lever that we have.
The city continues to face criticism for the stalled site.
So many years that they have problem with that. And whatever the case is or whatever the issue is, I think it's the city's fault. They should do something about it.
The city is kind of stuck in terms of what we can do.
An email since 2023 show the city has tried. Email after email asking the developer to take care of the site. This August, City Administrator Laura Smith asking, what is it going to take to address the condition of the site? Sharing these photos. The developer's response, as you know, we're in a very difficult position, but we will do what we reasonably can to help.
I think it's not good enough.
We wanted to know just how much does it cost to keep this site up? Well, our public records requests show the City of Mission has spent a little more than $15,000 since 2023. Taxpayer money spent on fence repair, mowing the perimeter, and court costs.
They spent more than $15,000.
The city? We did? Our city? Out of our money? Our tax dollars? That's a lot of money, $15,000.
We focused on a couple of what we viewed as, critical safety items.
A small city spending its money up front, but for how long? That's what many neighbors want to know.
We can only expect so much out of our residents in terms of us fronting money to work on that site when it might be, several years before we see that return.
Mayor Flores says the city adds that money to the developer's tax bill. They even took the developers to Mission Municipal Court earlier this year for failure to remove debris, structures, and graffiti. No one ever showed up.
Makes me mad every time that we have an unresponsive developer.
So what is the solution?
This is small potatoes to what really needs to be done.
Longtime Mission homeowner Jay Meyer thinks the city needs a high-powered attorney to get someone else in to develop the space.
They don't have a plan. They're just hoping it'll get solved. It's not going to get solved.
Mayor Flores says the city has no legal grounds right now to do anything.
That would be the next steps, is working with whoever the owner is at the end of the litigation process to make a positive development for the city of Mission.
And that's what many are wanting.
If there is something there, will help us, will help the businesses around us, because in this time we need it.
Something that finally makes way instead of sitting silent.
For many, that old mall still holds so many memories. People here in Kansas City hope that one day something new will return to that spot. And earlier this month, KCTV5 was there when we learned that the Chiefs would be moving to the Sunflower State. Well, KCTV5 anchor Zach Summers recently had a one-on-one conversation with Kansas Governor Laura Kelly. She revealed when she knew that the Chiefs deal was done and that the Missourians had lost the Chiefs.
Oh, what an afternoon it is. I don't know that it'll ever sink in.
One day after announcing a multi-billion-dollar deal that would move the Chiefs to Kansas by 2031, Kansas Governor Laura Kelly says the focus is already shifting.
As we move into, the development construction phase, I think it'll become very concrete and very real.
Kelly says the historic deal became apparent 2 weeks ago after meeting with Chiefs owner Clark Hunt and President Mark Donovan.
We all acted as a team. I think that certainty and stability of that communication with one entity was a major factor.
Kansas plans to finance 60% of the Chiefs' $3 billion dome stadium using star bonds, which would be paid back through sales tax revenues from a multi-county bond district. The Chiefs also agreed to build its headquarters and training facility in Olathe with an added $1 billion to build entertainment districts at both sites.
It's not going to cost Kansas taxpayers one new cent. They're not going to be paying more sales tax, in 2031.
Any financial safeguards in place if the revenue falls short?
Yes, there are several.
Kelly says the Chiefs, not the state, are on the hook if the project goes over budget. And while she expects the bonds to be paid off early, the governor says if that doesn't happen, the bondholders run the risk, not taxpayers.
I've always made sure that we got the best deal. And that Kansans were going to benefit from this.
As for if the governor feels any sympathy for Missouri losing the Chiefs.
Of course I do. I mean, if I were in their shoes, I'd feel the loss also. But I'd like to also remind them that, the Chiefs have always been the Kansas City Chiefs. And that's always been thought of as the Kansas City metro area.
And of course, there are still a few great years left at Arrowhead Stadium. The Chiefs aren't set to play in their new domed Wyandotte County Stadium until 2031. As 2025 is coming to a close, KCTV5 anchor Brad Stevens recently sat down with Kansas City Mayor Quentin Lucas to talk about the highs, the lows, and the lessons from this year.
When we reflect on what happened in Kansas City in 2025, it begins and ends with the stunning move made by the Kansas City Chiefs and the state of Kansas.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. And oh, what an afternoon it is.
Kansas Governor Laura Kelly announcing a deal to build a $3 billion dome stadium in Wyandotte County the Chiefs will call home in 2031.
I'm hearing from people loud and clear. When people say, how did you let the teams go?
We met with Mayor Quentin Lucas just before Governor Kelly's game-changing announcement. Lucas says the city was negotiating to keep the Chiefs at Arrowhead up until the final minute. Ultimately, the NFL franchise made a business decision. Some claim Arrowhead is too old and has outlived its usefulness. Mayor Lucas says tell that to FIFA.
There is nowhere like Arrowhead Stadium. Think about this. We're by far the smallest market in North America to get World Cup games. Part of that is not just our history, which is exceptional, but also a recognition that our facility is something special and majestic.
Lucas calls the move a setback and says the city, Jackson County, and the state of Missouri offered the Chiefs $1.5 billion in public support to keep them at Arrowhead. He says the 2019 border war truce between Missouri and Kansas is dead. Leaders established that truce to prevent businesses from crossing the state line.
A lot of us believed in that border war truce. And what is frustrating is that there were communities that were negotiating departures, other arrangements with businesses while that was still in place.
From football to soccer, 2025 in Kansas City saw massive preparations for the World Cup.
I think this is a 1996 Atlanta Olympics moment. If you talk to somebody from there, they often say, we're a great place, there were things happening, we took off from there. I think that's the future that Kansas City has in store.
As a World Cup host city this summer, Kansas City will be flooded with fans and international attention. The mayor says planning for the massive event has been a monumental task with a focus on safety and transportation.
Being able to catch buses during the World Cup that take you from Liberty to Lenexa, down to Fan Fest at the Liberty Memorial, out to the stadiums, hotels, airport, and beyond. I think that is something that is nothing short of dynamic. I hope, frankly, it sticks around and is in some ways a guide for our regional bus system after that.
We are not interested in buildings that fall out of the sky.
The mayor says 2025 marked a huge step forward in reinvigorating the Country Club Plaza with the announcement of new ownership and a $1.5 billion redevelopment plan.
We all recognize that it needs regeneration. We recognize that we needed a lot more work to make sure it was that unique regional crown jewel that it had to be. And so we're proud of having that.
Something else the mayor is proud of? Crime statistics dropping. Shootings were down 30% in Kansas City, and there have been fewer homicides than last year.
How did that happen, and is it sustainable? The first thing is this is sustainable. This is something that, first of all, I think our prosecutor, our police, our violence interrupters, we decided to truly take, and it's cliche to say whole of government approach, but we've hired more officers, we've increased police budgets year over year. We also have a new dynamic Jackson County prosecutor who I think is making a strong difference for it.
The mayor also credits a bigger police budget and the hiring of more officers. He says the city hired more 911 operators and increased salaries. That cut wait times in 2025.
I won't rest until we're at a point where somebody can call 911 in Kansas City and get an immediate answer. That is a core basic of government, like having clean water.
2025, a year of progress, planning for the World Cup, and the new reality that the Chiefs are now just a few years away from packing up and moving west. Brad Stevens, KCTV5 News.
And you can view this full interview with Mayor Q on the KCTV5 website. Kansas City, thanks so much for joining me for this month's Special Projects Rewind. See you back at the end of January and have a happy new year.